Hello, today I'm going to be reviewing the Xirosleep system. I'm going to talk a little bit about the product and explain what it is, and then I'll get into some of the details and how I've been using it and how I feel after using it. So the sleep system I'll show you in a minute. It's on my bed setup right now. It's basically a way to optimize the position for side sleeping. So without getting too deep into the science, which I'm not an expert on by any means, but Michael, the owner of the company, explained it to me. He said that most people end up sleeping on their side. They move around at night, but the side sleeping position is the most common. But what ends up happening with most beds is that when people sleep on their side, depending on their body shape, depending on a lot of other things, they end up being in the kind of its contorted position. So their spine isn't straight, and then they wake up sometimes with back pain, with shoulder pain, or they can't sleep as well at night. Now I'm going to go into this a little bit more because I think sleep is complex, and I think there's a lot of things that you could be doing to optimize your sleep that go beyond a bunch of pillows that you would put on the bed. That being said, it is a position that you spend a lot of time in your life in, so it's good to know a little bit more about that. So the idea is that most sleep systems and pillows that you would get are kind of a one-size-fits-all product, and obviously that doesn't work because everybody is built differently. So the idea with this system that I have here, I'm going to show you, it's DIY. If you're in Vegas, I think you can come in and install it. Otherwise, you have a number of different foam pads, and the idea is that you build it custom to your body, so not everyone's going to need the same amount of padding, not everyone's going to have the same shape, but everyone can find that more optimized position when they sleep. Full disclaimer on my experience as well, I generally don't have trouble sleeping. I think it's a skill, and there's a lot of lifestyle choices that have to do with how you sleep as well. But before I tried this, I didn't have trouble sleeping. I slept 7 to 8 hours a night most nights. I'm sleeping on a memory foam mattress now, but when I was living lower budget lifestyles, I was sleeping on the floor a lot. I was sleeping on like a Japanese futon type thing, roll out. I've slept on tons of couches. I've spent years traveling, so I'm not a stranger to being able to sleep in different positions. But that being said, I'm curious about trying different products, especially if they can help to optimize or improve a lifestyle or help other people. So that's kind of why I decided to review this Xirosleep system. So as I mentioned, I'm going to get into what the system is. It's a series of mattresses and pillows, and it's specifically designed to have you lay down in this position with a straight back so that your body is in more of a neutral position, so that when you're there for 8 hours, you don't wake up with a sore back. Michael was saying, and I found this as well, it helps a lot of people to fall asleep faster, to fall asleep easier. I know a couple things that I've noticed when I started playing around with this and using it is, number one, I do fall asleep faster. Number two, what I noticed is that my sleep was heavier, and especially the first few nights, and now I'm going back and forth with it, but especially the first few nights, and now when I use it as well, because it's been a couple months, I think, since I've had it, is I naturally wake up earlier. Like earlier than I want to, earlier than I expect. And it's not like I feel tired when I wake up. It's like I'm naturally waking up earlier. And who knows, it could be because of that optimization of the position that makes a difference. But as I mentioned, I do a lot of other things to help optimize my sleep as well. The system has 3 parts, and I think there's a lot of different options on the website that you have with buying them. So you got a pillow, and then I got a couple foam blocks under the pillow. You got this midsection pad, and then you got the leg pillow as well. And basically when Michael came and installed the system for me, he would set this up, have me lay down, and then take this laser level to my back, and he would keep adding different pieces of foam until I had a straight back. And one of the interesting things that I found as well is that it was more difficult to set up with me because I had more muscle in my body, and it took more pillows and more kind of figuring things out until I could get that straight back. And yeah, basically, if I'll show you what this looks like when you use it. So hopefully I'm still in frame. So it's like this, right? So you got the leg pillow, you got the midsection that goes here. I'll do another angle later. And then you got the head. And then what I like, this is cool because I end up sleeping on my arm a lot, but sometimes when you sleep on your arm, it kind of puts your shoulder in a weird position, which is for me a big deal because I've had actually a lot of shoulder dislocations. But you got this gap between the head and the body pillow, and that gap is really nice for kind of putting your arm through. And again, this middle pillow is made based on the midsection, so based on the shape of your shoulders, your waist. The idea is that when you're here, it makes your back straight. Whereas if I was just laying down here like this, my back is in a bowed, curved shape. Now, again, you can argue a lot of different things. There's nothing wrong with having a curved back in many ways. The spine is meant to move. It's just the thought is this is a position that you're spending many hours a day in. And the second thought is that many people aren't that flexible. Many people have pain partly because of their lifestyle, but it could be partly because of their sleeping position. So it's like if there is a way to naturally find a better position to sleep in, then it can help a lot of people feel better. Like I said, I'm not, when I was sleeping on a flat ground, when I sleep on the floor, yeah, sometimes I wake up my back sore, you know, that's a normal thing, but it's not like I noticed a huge difference like, oh, I have a lot of pain and I have no pain when I use this. But one thing I did notice, as I mentioned, is, again, I'm here. It's a lot easier to relax and fall asleep. It's less moving. The position's kind of already set up. Whereas typically if I'm just kind of sleeping on a flat surface, I'm gonna be doing a lot more kind of moving and searching for the right position. And yeah, it's gonna take longer to fall asleep. I may wake up in the middle of the night and change positions again. And it's less likely to happen with this sleep system because it kind of already sets things up. And then just to show a different angle so you can see a little bit more what's happening. So you got leg pillow, boom, something like this. Arm, again, this is one thing I really like is how there's space for that arm. And what this pillow has is it's a couple layers of foam and then a half cylindrical foam in the middle because that's what it took to get my back straight. So I might be all the way on my side. I might roll a little bit to the forward position. Something like this when I sleep. Rolling over, so if you have a light blanket, that rolling over and switching is simple enough, right? So I go from here, I switch sides. I'm kind of on the edge of the bed, but simple enough. I use a heavy blanket sometimes, like a 25-pound one. So when I have that one, it's a little bit more difficult to roll over. It's kind of more of a workout. But yeah, I got side sleep position 1, side sleep position 2. So that's what it's going to look like. If you sleep on your back, and I'll talk a little bit more about the negatives, it's not very good because it's kind of putting my spine into extension. So this is made specifically for side sleepers, right? Just something to keep in mind. Okay, likes and dislikes, positive and negatives. Likes, again, I wasn't even expecting this. I was just kind of doing it to try it out. Fall asleep faster, sleep heavier, naturally wake up earlier. So I did notice a difference and I was already not having trouble sleeping before that. So I think if you're a side sleeper and you have issues with shoulders or back or something like that, definitely it's something to look into because like I said, I wasn't even expecting those results. And I did it for about a month where I slept on this system every day. Then I did some traveling. So I went back and forth in hotel rooms. And then when I came back, I started going back and forth between one side of my bed, which is flat, and this. And I think it's good to have those options because I like to not get too used to something. But again, when I go back to the Xirosleep system, I naturally wake up earlier and more well rested. So it is just something to say that's legit. What I don't like, number one, it's more stuff. right? I try to be minimalistic in a lot of ways, and this is kind of anti-minimalistic as far as sleep goes. Again, I was sleeping for years on just a roll-out Japanese futon, just a roll-out mattress like this thick, and I was doing fine, and that was a great minimalistic sleep tool because I didn't have to get a truck when I moved. I could just pack it up into my car. So having more stuff, it's not necessarily a good thing, but again, that depends on the size of your bed, the size of your lifestyle. You got more stuff in your bed, so if you're sharing it with a partner, it might get a little bit awkward. You got more stuff in your bed, so if you want to use it for something other than sleeping, you got to take the stuff off, right? So that's another issue, potentially. What if you want to sleep on your back? Right? That's not going to work for this. Then you have to either take it off or go to the other side. And then the other thing that I don't like is, and this is just kind of grasping at straws at this point, sometimes I like to wake up in the morning and maybe not get up right away, maybe like stare at the ceiling and contemplate existence, whatever, something like that. When I do that, I have to roll over to the other side of the bed because this is not good for laying on your back. This is kind of only for laying on your side. So it doesn't give you a lot of options if you like to move around, if you want to move around. It's kind of only meant for side sleeping position, which again is usually the position that I fall asleep in anyway. I'm not a back sleeper. I tend to wake up a lot, so I nap on my back, but I sleep either on my side or on my stomach. But sometimes I like to have options to move around, and I don't have that with this, so it's kind of a little bit more strict. Another thing that I don't like, and again, this is kind of a prototype, so I don't know if everything looks like that. The bottom, so this is kind of this bamboo pillowcase of the middle pillow, right? But the bottom is kind of open foam with these little elastics holding it. This is a prototype of it, so I don't know if that's what the final product is. And again, it's not a big deal because the foam is on the bottom. It's not a deal breaker by any means, but obviously something that would be completely closed off would be nice. But obviously, logistically, that would be difficult if you are making something custom. So just something to think about. Leg pillow, was skeptical about it. I like it. I actually still end up using this when I'm not using the full system because I think it does actually help with side sleeping position a little bit. Another thing I don't like, and this is kind of a little bit of an abstract thought, but what if, best case scenario, all of your sleep problems are solved because you got this, and your sleep is amazing, but then you get too used to it, and then you go traveling again, and then you go to a hotel, and you're sleeping on a friend's couch, and you can't sleep because you're so used to having this system and you get used to it. Again, I don't know if I would call that a negative. I'm just kind of thinking a little bit outside the box of possibilities. So I think in sleep it's good to be versatile. I think it's good to try to have the skill to be able to sleep in different situations, but when you have sleep in your house, that was a weird sentence. When you sleep in your house, it is better to try to optimize that as much as possible, and positioning is one way. So I do think this can be helpful for a lot of people, especially for side sleepers who are either having trouble falling asleep or dealing with back and shoulder issues because of their position. So I do want to talk about one more thing, and that would be this idea of expectation of a singular solution, because I think that's a mindset that you see a lot of these days. It's easy to get into. So here's the idea, just using sleep as an example. I'm not sleeping well. I wake up with shoulder and back pain. I wake up many times in the middle of the night. How am I going to solve it? I'm going to get this one thing, and that's going to solve all my problems. Is it possible? Yes, absolutely, it might be. But is it probable? Chances are no, because it's usually a multifaceted solution. It's probably lifestyle changes you have to make. There's probably a mindset you have to get into to sleep better. So just changing the things that you sleep on may be very helpful, but it's probably not enough. right? So if you really want to improve your sleep, make sure you're trying to find darkness. So you close your blinds, you turn the lights off in your room, you turn off electronics, turn off the Wi-Fi in your house if you're able to, because you're not using that signal anyway. So whether or not you believe the hype about the the EMF signals, if you're not using the Wi-Fi, you can turn it off. I wear the red glasses. So this is a tool that can help your sleep as well, because if you have a lot of LED lights or fluorescent lights in the house, they're producing blue light, which is gonna kind of signal to your body to stay awake longer, because the sun produces blue light in the middle of the day, but red light towards the evening. Also, evolutionarily speaking, we used to use fire for a long time before we used incandescent bulbs, which still give off a lot of infrared and red, orange, yellow light. And then LEDs and fluorescent lights are pretty new, so they disrupt sleep. Food, exercise, you can take some supplements, drink different teas. I'm not going to get into all of that, but the point is I think this Xirosleep system can be very helpful for a lot of people. That being said, if you're having trouble sleeping and you're serious about it, it may behoove you to look into a few other lifestyle modifications as well that I think will benefit you further than just getting a set of pillows that's going to help optimize your position. So that's the end of the review. If, just to be transparent, I did receive this for free to review, and it's not a paid review, but if you like the Xirosleep system and you want to buy it, you can use my discount code. I'll post that below, and I do get a small kickback if you use my code, so just to be transparent about that. So that's the review of the Xirosleep system. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you find it helpful. If there's any other videos you'd like me to put up or any other products you'd like me to review, let me know, and I'll see if I can get that done.